Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Anna Manuel. Hundreds of homes lost heat and hot water yesterday and today. Gas services are promised to be restored by tonight. Big Fox's Maggie Hall has more on this issue.
I'm here outside of Steuben County Emergency Services. Emergency service officials announced earlier today that 440 homes had their gas services restored to them. This is after 600 homes across Yates, Schuyler, and Steuben County lost access to hot water and heat since Monday. New York State Gas and Electric released an online statement about the lost services. The issue is attributed to a supplier issue. I asked Timothy Marshall, Director of Public Safety at Steuben County Emergency Services, what folks should do if an outage like this happens again.
If you try to do alternative heating, if you're using electric heaters, try not to, definitely don't want to overload circuits. The other thing you want to make sure that you do is keep any type of combustible materials at least 3 feet away from any type of a heating source. So again, the other big thing to really be cautious of is making sure that you have updated batteries in your smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors. The big thing is that if you have issues or you need to contact somebody at NYSEG, the number to reach there is 800-572-1121.
If you smell gas indoors, immediately evacuate everyone and call 911. For any other issues, contact NYSEG. Maggie Hall, Big Fox News, Steuben County.
Icy road conditions led to many accidents across Chemung County early this morning. Big Fox's Josh Feldberg spoke to a local towing company about what they saw today.
A sheet of ice covered the roads in Elmira and the surrounding area this morning despite the efforts of city salt trucks. Many went online to report accidents, including one incident involving an Elmira City School District bus. Big Fox reached out to the Elmira School District about the incident but did not hear back. Brian Rinwalski, the owner of Rinwalski Towing, spoke with Big Fox about the dangers of icy road conditions.
When you get a morning like this morning with the ice, it's very, very hectic. Obviously, people can't see, the roads are frozen like when you have snow, so a lot of people tend to disregard it, and yeah, it becomes chaos in a hurry,
Rinwalski Towing alone serviced close to 20 calls in just a matter of hours.
I mean, it really varies, from, just fender benders on up to, we did a couple rollovers today.
This car was involved in a rollover accident early this morning. First responders cut the car open in order to reach the occupant inside.
We've had trucks hit in the past on accident scenes on icy roads and stuff, and it's a dangerous ordeal for all responders involved, the police, firemen, and everything. So best thing to do is everybody to slow down, and it eliminates all of us having to be out there on the roads when it's dangerous like that.
As winter continues, the city of Elmira issued a reminder to slow down and approach stop signs and traffic lights with extra caution in these conditions. Josh Feldberg, Big Fox News, Elmira.
A police officer rushed to the hospital after being shot in the line of duty. New York City police say the officer and his colleague were responding to a call in the Bronx this morning and encountered 2 male suspects. As the officer attempted to engage the suspects, one of the officers was shot in the arm. The NYPD commissioner says the gunshot narrowly missed the officer's vital organs.
Let me be clear. We will stop at nothing to ensure that these subjects involved in this shooting and the people who drive violence in this city will be brought to justice.
The officer was brought to an area hospital where he is being treated for non-life-threatening injuries. To Washington now, and the White House says visitor logs for the president's personal home do not exist. But Republicans say they promise to keep digging for answers to see if the president mishandled classified information. Lauren Blanchard is in Washington with more.
Are there more documents? Is there an inventory of what the Bidens have that's still missing? We have no answers to many questions.
House Republicans will likely not get answers to their questions of who has visited President Biden's Wilmington, Delaware home, where classified documents were found. The White House says they have no visitor logs for the president's personal residence, hitting back at the GOP, quote, President Biden is doing the right thing and is cooperating fully with a thorough review. But House Republicans are playing politics in a shamelessly hypocritical attempt to attack President Biden. A special counsel has been appointed to oversee the case.
This situation appears to be inadvertent, not intentional, and we'll see what is ultimately uncovered.
Even so, the House Judiciary and Oversight Committees, now under Republican control, say they will investigate and demand information from the Justice Department. They say former President Trump's classified document case has been handled differently than President Biden's.
I think there should be some benefit of the doubt. I think there should be some grace given to ex-presidents or ex-vice presidents. Rules now say that the FBI has to raid the home and do a thorough search.
Democrats have been quick to point out differences between the current and former president's cases. For Biden, they say he quickly handed over the dozen or so pages, but for Trump, they say he resisted turning over hundreds of documents. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
Starting today, the Department of Veterans Affairs now says that U.S. military veterans can get free emergency care if they're in suicidal crisis. The treatment can be at any healthcare facility. Veterans do not need to be enrolled in the Department of Veterans Affairs system to get this treatment. Vets can dial 988 followed by pressing 1 to quickly connect to support at any time. Mortgage rates have gone up. Despite that, some experts believe now may be a good time for first-time home buyers to lock in their first home. Randy Wallace explains.
When you're paying rent somewhere, you're paying 100% interest. What is a 6% interest rate when you're paying 100% at rent? You're paying somebody else's mortgage. You know, how do you build wealth like that?
Buying property is one of the safest ways to invest your money. While the pandemic was good for the housing market, it pushed first-time home buyers off the playing field.
During COVID, we watched prices escalate. We watched multiple offers coming in, 20, 30, 40 offers on a property. Basically, it bumped first-time home buyers right out of the market.
But higher mortgage rates can mean fewer buyers with more inventory to pick from. If you're a first-time buyer, you could qualify for various programs and grants.
There are even 100% financing programs now for first-time home buyers with grants. So you can literally get into a home right now in today's market with zero down and possibly help with your closing costs to buy your rate down, which is crazy.
Some experts believe the housing industry is teetering towards a buyer's market, and now is the time to act.
So if your thoughts are, I want to buy a home, A, get out now. While there are fewer buyers and sellers are feeling it, they're anxious to sell, so they're willing to deal. They're going to deal with you less when there is less competition and more buyers. So housing appreciation is still going on. What you can buy today, you may not be able to afford next year. So it's always a good time to buy now.
Researchers have found Megaraptor fossils, and they say it all looks like a scene from Jurassic Park. That story, plus your complete forecast when we come back.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Good evening. As we stepped into our Tuesday forecast, it was the start of a very active weather pattern ahead. We had some times of that wintry mix and even freezing rain that brought those slick conditions, and then we're staying underneath these overcast but mild conditions as we still have a southwesterly wind. It's going to keep us mild, still keep some moisture within the atmosphere that could shake out a few showers, but not expecting much for any impacts or much for accumulation, as we will keep temperatures above the freezing mark, at least for the near future. Well, we will know that as into our Wednesday, we stay underneath those gloomy skies, a little bit of a wind to factor in, not going to be blustery, but it's noting that we still have some active weather on its way as a low is quickly following the system that moved through today, and that's going to give us wet conditions through our Wednesday. Now, The start of the system is going to be similar to what we saw this morning with that chance to see some of that freezing rain accumulation. The good news is that that freezing rain is going to be the onset of this warmer system that will bring us mostly rainfall through Thursday. Could see some slight wintry mix on the backside as we will have some cooling into Friday under some gustier winds. Now, as we roll into our Wednesday forecast, as mentioned, pretty gloomy and quiet. Still pretty mild as well, with temperatures climbing into those lower 40s. We'll have that westerly wind about 5 to 15 miles per hour. So it's not going to surge us into those warmer temperatures with 50s that we've been able to see this month, but we're staying mild. We'll note that the winds aren't going to be blustery, but enough to bring us a gust at times up to about 20 miles per hour. We can see a few of those isolated gusts popping up. But as we look at the forecast, you can see that there are these occasional little spots of some precipitation in the atmosphere, just noting that there's moisture in place. Not much of that is going to see accumulation. Again, most of the impacts we see is cloud cover. Might see some slight clearing. If you see sunshine, enjoy it, because we're not going to see much of it here in the near future. And then here's the onset of that next system. So this is that warmer edge of the system moving in first, giving us a chance for that freezing rain to start Thursday. And then by Thursday afternoon, we'll work in that low pressure system that will give us some times of some heavier rainfall. So there is that slight icing potential. You can see that gradient. Not a lot for numbers popping up, so that's good news there. But we'll watch if that potential will grow. And then we'll turn to that rainier weather that will come from Thursday afternoon into the overnight, where about a half an inch of some rainfall accumulation is expected. Again, maybe a slight snow potential on the backside. We'll watch how that turns around with that Friday forecast. So as we head into Thursday, note though, we still stay pretty mild, still 40s on the board for temperatures, but by Friday, that temperature trend does turn around. We will fall into those 30s, which is more seasonal for this time of the year. We'll trend to see that much of the weekend is dry, but we'll keep an eye on a low confidence storm that is going to start to move in late on Sunday into Monday, but the system again is associated with some of the warmer weather up to the south, so it brings us that return back up into those 40s again by Monday, and then we'll step into next week with another round of some cooling as well as quiet weather.
Transport back in time nearly 70 million years and catch a glimpse of some of the prehistoric giants who once dominated the Earth. Jackie Ibanez takes a look at the latest fossil discoveries from researchers in South America.
The steep mountainous terrain of Chile's Patagonia region is boasting some impressive dinosaur discoveries. Here, scientists have unveiled the remains of megaraptors, large meat eaters that roamed portions of South America roughly 70 million years ago.
The discovery namely consisted of rescuing fossils of teeth. And these pieces have a singular characteristic that let us interpret them as belonging to the Megaraptor dinosaurs.
Also unearthed were the fossils of velociraptor-like dinosaurs researchers believe were covered in feathers. These types of prehistoric beasts, known as theropods, are closely linked to modern-day birds. This collection of fossils are the southernmost dinosaur remains found outside of Antarctica. Before their discovery, researchers say there wasn't much information about theropods existing in high-latitude regions of South America. Meanwhile, officials at the University of Chile say some fossils featured characteristics not found on similar raptors discovered in nearby Argentina and Brazil.
They belong to a quite special and enigmatic type of dinosaur because we still don't know for certain its taxonomic affinities.
Besides discovering fossils, archaeologists were able to learn more about the region's previous climate. Rock samples in the area showed a dramatic shift in temperatures, which crews believe may have been triggered by the meteor that wiped out the dinosaurs.
Insurance companies are fleeing Louisiana. A major pharmacy chain lifts its limits on children's pain meds, and a restaurant 86's TikTok. CJ Papa has today's business briefs.
Thousands of residents in the South are losing their home insurance as companies pull out after years of devastating storms. And Louisiana is at the center of the crisis. In just 2 years, more than 20 companies have gone under or stopped doing business in the state, forcing families to pay high premiums or go without coverage. Currently, the average cost of home insurance in the state is over $2,000 a year. That's 46% higher than the national average. Walgreens announces it will no longer limit the purchase of children's fever medications. The restrictions were put in place this winter to prevent hoarding when supply was running low. Now, as the triple-demic of viruses begins to fade out, conditions are improving. Other pharmacies with similar restrictions have yet to announce an end to their purchase caps. And Waffle House is putting its foot down and saying no to viral trends. This video shows a sign at a Waffle House cash register saying, "Order from the menu. We are not making anything you saw on TikTok." Chipotle, on the other hand, is embracing a popular TikTok hack. The company says it's making the Philly cheesesteak quesadilla an official menu item starting in March. That's business. I'm CJ Papa.
Still ahead, cases of strep are on the rise in kids. A look at what doctors say you can do to help keep the most vulnerable safe, coming up. While there are several types of strep infections, cases of one in particular, strep A, are on the rise in kids. Doctors are also citing a rise in rare and deadly complications related to strep A, with invasive strep A diseases already responsible for at least 24 deaths here in the U.S. and more than a dozen in the UK. Jackie Ibanez has more from health officials on how you can help keep children safe.
Hot on the heels of a CDC advisory warning parents about a rise in strep A infections among kids. Health officials around the country are also sounding the alarm, citing a spike in the number of invasive strep A-related diseases impacting children.
Group A strep is a bacteria that normally colonizes our throat and our skin. However, if the child lacks immunity to that particular strain, the streptococcus can cause what's commonly known as strep throat.
While symptoms of strep throat can include extreme fever, muscle pain, sore throat, and neck swelling, Group A strep can also cause rare but potentially deadly invasive diseases.
For instance, a child could aspirate the bacteria into their lungs and it could cause pneumonia. The bacteria could also go from the throat into their bloodstream and infect the connective tissue below our skin or the muscles below our skin.
Because strep can spread between children in crowded spaces, health officials say school closures and mask wearing brought on by COVID-19 previously led to decreases in invasive strep-related diseases.
Invasive disease decreased by 30% in 2020.
Doctors advise not sharing eating utensils and practicing strict hand washing routines to help avoid getting sick. And because untreated strep A can result in serious conditions, doctors also recommend having your child take a strep test to rule out if they have a Group A strep or another strain.
Backyard chickens are growing in popularity due to the rising cost of eggs around the country. Elizabeth Matthews has more.
Athena here has a pretty happy life as a backyard chicken, but you need to know what you're getting into before you ruffle some feathers. Cartons or coops? Some are saying so long to overpriced dozens and saying hello to friendly flocks. Erin Blackburn and her suburban family own several chickens.
Athena, Penny, Cleo.
They have a coop and a run for the birds to get exercise and forage for bugs.
You can have a very simple coop as long as it keeps the chickens safe from predators, dry, and draft free.
She runs the Chicago Chicken Enthusiast Facebook page, where she's seen an influx in interested chicken keepers as egg prices skyrocket.
All the advice is free. We believe it's something that should be available to anybody.
The avian bird flu wiped out 44 million chickens last year. Now prices are up almost 60%. Some stores limiting the purchase of eggs and only offering them in bulk, like these packs of 120. A chick will cost you $7. A hen, more like $20 to $25. The coop, anywhere from $200 to thousands of dollars. Independent chicken consultant Jennifer Murtaugh says chickens aren't cheap in the beginning.
If you're expecting to get chickens to save money, probably not going to happen. But with the price of eggs going up, and if you eat a lot of eggs, that could rebalance this cost calculation.
Not all municipalities allow backyard chickens. Some city leaders are afraid of,
oh, the noise, oh, the smell, oh, the filth, oh, everybody's going to get sick.
But she says hens are quieter than dogs, and smells and diseases are generally not an issue. Plus, they teach kids where their food comes from. They make rich compost, eat bugs, small rodents, and provide entertainment.
Some people have told me it's better than watching television.
If you're thinking about adding a flock to your backyard, just go on social media. You can find a Facebook group and join that for free advice.
Stay with us. We'll have more after the break. We want to leave you with a smile. The odds of having identical triplets are somewhere between 1 in 60,000 and 1 in 200 million. Kind of a big range there, but this growing Kansas City family might just be that one. Adrienne Blanford gave birth to triplet daughters. Doctors say sisters Imani, Leilani, and Kalani all shared the same placenta, which is usually indicative of identical triplets. Mom and babies are all said to be doing well. They hope to go home soon and be reunited with their dad and 4 older siblings. I'm Scott Beadle. Thanks so much for watching.